Victor, you've got a story this week. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I didn't make the email before the show, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna get a chance to talk about it or not.
You got
But
it on the spreadsheet, which is where it's supposed to go. You get points, man.
so yeah, so just this week out of Europe, probably not the biggest news to come out of Europe this week, but for soccer fans, they know what I'm talking about. But there's a New York Times article that talked about how the EU is proposing very strict regulations concerning ethical use of AI. I thought that was very interesting, just with the way that they were going about it. One thing that they've been pretty like talking about, like just like how facial recognition should be deployed. Wanting to make sure that the having human oversight, wanting to make sure that the data can be vetted. For deep fakes, they want to have something, have some kind of indication to put under that it's that it was manipulated or it was altered somehow. So it just kind of struck me as sort of like you know we the EU is kind of has been on the vanguard of sort of like protecting consumers, protecting people from making sure that tech doesn't overreach, and making sure people are protected from that. And this with GDPR, and this is just another example of that. Just shows that they're really kind of on the cutting edge as far as like protecting individuals, making sure that tech is deployed ethically. I mean, obviously, devil's in the details with these kind of things, but I just thought it was very interesting with just how they're going about it.
Victor, how are they going about it? And how would they regulate AI?
Um, just like they set strict regulations as far as like making sure that like facial recognition software was like the algorithms for like vetting the algorithms for facial recognition software. Having human oversight of various AI, various programs and whatnot, making sure that the data is vetted properly. For like I said, for the deep fakes, they want to make sure they have something on there to make sure that um, you know it says that it was manipulated or was changed somehow. And I think the penalty is that it's they're like commercial penalties, and they're like some other ways that they're going to regulate it. So I mean, yeah, it just kind of shows that this is where they're thinking, that this is where their minds are with regards to that stuff.
Yeah, you kind of said it though. At least for me, the devil is kind of in the details a little bit. Particularly when I'm thinking about something like GDPR. We've had a couple of very high profile fines, but I think if you talk to some privacy lawyers over there, they'll say we thought they'd be a little bit more heavy handed in actually enforcing this stuff than they've actually been. So I'm curious with something like this, particularly with AI, which is a relatively cutting edge technology like facial recognition. I'm curious as to how much enforcement they will actually be doing. I definitely think it's a step in the right direction, and I definitely think it's a good thing to implement, but we'll see how it's actually carried out. And don't mind me if I'm a little bit skeptical on how they'll be doing it.
Sure, and I think these are proposed rules, so I don't even know I don't know what the process is as far as like adopting things over there. This is where probably having Caroline would probably be helpful as far as explaining how the EU works. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what the procedure is as far as like modifying the rules go. I'm sure some companies will have some opinions about this. I think there's the one in the panel. I think they could be fined up to like 6% of their global sales, which is that could be a lot for some companies. It might not be too much for others. So yeah, but I think yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they are going forward. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see if this spurs anything in the United States, to see if we follow them like we did with GDPR.
I think one other possible, I don't know, this is a direct implication for legal tech, but I forget whether we've talked about this issue before, but I know, I'm sure some of us have written about it. I know I've written about it. This question of the extent to which legal tech companies should be expected to be somewhat transparent about their own, AI algorithms that they're using in their products, and some of that comes out of the research into differences among legal research algorithms and how they produce different results based on their algorithms. The bottom line being that algorithms are not perfect. They're imperfect. They're written by humans, and they have sort of inherent biases, not the kind of biases we were talking about before with regard to racial profiling or that sort of thing, but they even if they just have biases in terms of how they influence the results of a search, that's something that consumers of those products should have some ability to know. And I know some of the legal research companies have taken sort of small steps towards providing some transparency around their algorithms. Fastcase has a little place you can go and kind of see how their algorithm is being weighted, and you can adjust. There's like little sliders where you can adjust the weighting of their algorithm to produce different search results. So it's not quite regulation of AI, but I think going forward, even if not regulation around AI, I think we should expect to see companies become more transparent around their AI. And I think that's something we're going to eventually expect as a right.
It's interesting, the Supreme Court decision yesterday, sort of with respect to all of this, and they came out with an opinion which basically denied the ability of the Federal Trade Commission to recover monies for consumers for deceptive practices, which, you might say, so what? But the so what is, so somebody, sells some of your your private information and you're identified. Well, oh, that's really bad, but what can you do about it, right? You're going to go hire a lawyer. You're going to sue the company. That's going to cost you more than it is ever be worth. What are you're going to file a class action? Who wants to do that? Not too many. And so the FTC was kind of stepping into that breach and trying to collect money and police deceptive practices, particularly in the technology arena. And now they've had a pretty significant tool removed from them. So I thought it could end up being a pretty important opinion, and could let a lot of technology companies get away with more than they have in the past.
Mm-hmm.